Ooh, hello everyone. Hello, hello. Hello, sister.
Hello.
We're excited because we have a very special someone that we're sitting down and chatting with today. Everyone, welcome in Alison Love David. Hello. Hi,
Hello.
Allison.
Yes,
Ooh, this
hello. The voice.
the voice. This woman I feel like needs no introduction. And yet, for those of you that do not and have not maybe heard of her, she is a voice activator unlike any other. I mean, we could probably sit here and not use words and just be like, hey, I don't know, get the vocals warmed. She is all about, I mean, just tuning into you, Allison, you just are so embodied in the word authentic, in the word real. Um, and I personally am so excited you're here that Stacè made this lovely connection for us to sit down with you. So welcome in.
Thank you. It's lovely to hear you say that. I feel privileged to be here with you beauties and see what unfolds.
Mm. Well,
Mhm.
still means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can be like still inspired. I know you're up to inspiring creators and inspiring, just like adding this magical dose of inspiration wherever you go. I'm putting total words in her mouth, but this is just the frequency I feel off of you. But like when you hear the word still, what does that conjure for you?
Well, actually, it conjures Will I Am, but I just listened to him in a podcast talking about that word. And
Mm.
so it's not my personal experience, but you asked me the question, and if I answer you in authenticity, it's what he said. So there's stillness, which is, being still and quiet and stopping. And then he was using the word still as in I'm still doing it. And being somebody who's hyperactive, and or hyperactive sounds dodgy, but someone who's active a lot, who's got a lot going on, to be still doing it, it just made me feel a little bit of relief in a way. Because, for example, I think I'm on the spectrum of ADHD. And so the thought of my mind, stilling my mind to meditate is, I keep trying for like more than 10 years. But if I think, well, I'm still thinking about my business, then that's a still, isn't it? I'm still thinking about how I can inspire the world. Then that suddenly some consistency in that stillness, staying
Mm,
focused on what you're really into.
wow. I love that description, and how timely that you just heard that from Will I Am. And we're asking you this because it plays so nicely into our idea of still too. It's multifaceted. It's not just stilling. And I love how you're saying with with meditation even. And a lot of people struggle with that, right? It's like, oh, I can't sit still and just do that. Like, oh, wait, I'm still present. I'm still very aware of everything happening around me. And that's okay. Like, not only is it okay, it's invited. And so I love how you're bringing in this because I know a lot of our listeners have written and said, oh, this still thing. I love what you guys are saying and doing. I just can't like just contain it all and sit still. I'm like, you don't have to. You get to be still in it. You get to have
Yeah.
all of that. So I love how you've described that.
And I love that what you said there made me think I'm still meditating after like 11 years of not quieting my mind.
There you
Mm.
go.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think this also brings in a whole realm of um, expectation that has been placed on like how you meditate, how you do things, be disciplined in your spiritual practices. What?
Hmm.
Right. Right. Right.
What?
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that opens up the
Mm-mm.
door. Like, how are you breaking free of that nonsense? Because that's what I'm hearing you say is like, yeah, it's not easy for me to still my mind. Who out there? Raise your hand. Same. It's like constant ideations populating, like, okay, let's roll. I'm sitting there meditating, like, can we go now? So how has, I think this is what I'm hearing, like, how have you been breaking breaking shit down that is just like maybe not serving you to open up the gates for these people that are in your communities that you are serving, these creative geniuses to use their voice in the ways that are true to them?
How am I breaking shit down?
Mhm. Please,
I,
please,
I, I,
please.
I just think that when it comes down to it, freedom is super important. So that's why my brand is called Free Your True Voice. And freedom really means a lot. And creatives need to feel free. And anybody who's an individual, which is everybody, but particularly creative people, really need to feel free. And breaking shit down often comes down to like allowing people to use their voice, to just give themselves permission to express themselves. Then what comes out of their mouths is the gift that tells you what they really want. So
Mm.
giving themselves permission enough to just let it roll, let it flow from their mouths. Then they can hear themselves say, actually, I don't want this, or I do want that, or that doesn't suit me, or I'm stuck around that, or I remember this, or and then they can start to unpick it. So that, I guess that's how talking therapy became such a big thing, because your voice really does reveal stuff. Then
Mm.
it's a choice, right? It's a choice, and there's stages to that choice to allow yourself to liberate in whatever way that feels right. And then there's communicate when we go against the norm. Like there's a way to communicate that. And so learning the art of communication so that it doesn't feel unsafe to be different. There's ways to set up the framework to introduce ourselves to people as functioning differently, because we do, and this is the culture more and more that we're embracing, that we are individuals. Like I was thinking about spectrums last night, and that like there's the gender spectrum, there's the race spectrum, there's the neurodiverse spectrum, there's the like sort of financial abundance class spectrum, and we're more fluid in that these days. So finding our way to express that so that we can all be met in our uniqueness. I think that's the way that I can answer your question.
Yeah.
Mm.
Brilliant. And I love that you're using this word free. It's one of my core values. So it always rings true when I hear it. And Alison, when I think of you, that's exactly what comes to mind. It's like this is a fully embodied being who is free, just completely free. And I've been in your workshops and I've followed your work. And one of the things I've noticed is that you have such a unique way of bringing that freedom to every being in the sphere. And they don't have to be creatives, because what I feel is so important about your work is that it's not only for creatives or singers or writers or whomever. Like it is, like if you have a voice, that's who it's for. And that's all of us. And I'm curious for you, for those who wouldn't call themselves creative, I'll put it that way, how is it that you get them to free the expression of their voices?
Good question. So I also say creatives and visionaries, and entrepreneurs. So that's wider. But visionaries, anybody who sees that the world could be different. And a
Mm.
creative could be someone who's designed their dinner at like, what shall I cook? So really it's everybody. Um,
Ooh.
so so how do I, so can I lost it a little bit. How do I get them to express themselves? How do I let them liberate their voice?
Yeah.
Ah, I listen.
Mm.
So often I'm with these people, and I don't think some of my clients would necessarily, well, they wouldn't call themselves creatives off the bat. Not all of my clients, but so I listen. I listen and I reflect them back to themselves. And actually, so if I'm with a client, I might be writing what they're saying back and reflecting it back to them. Uh, Sometimes I can do that and put it to music, put some music in the background and show them how poetic they are. Or maybe I can take their little sentence of what they want or what they feel and invite them to make a sing it. And it doesn't have to, again, like you might not call yourself a songwriter or a creative, but like nursery rhymes. I was
Mm.
thinking last night as well, actually this morning, about ABC. We all know that song, right? So you don't have to be like Mozart. Just interestingly, because Mozart did Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but you can just take something so basic like that and just sing your stuff to yourself. And we've all been programmed to remember the ABC song. So there's so much they can do. And that's pretty much how I like to help them more than anything. It's just to witness them and reflect them back in their genius, in their mastery, in their innovation, in their creativity. Everyone has it.
Mm,
Wow. That's pretty
that's
inspiring.
it's a powerful, well, also, I just want to say I would not be the creative that plans my meals. So as soon as she said that, Stacey, I'm over here asking her, I'm like, so how'd you make that cilantro rice? And Stacey's like,
Yum.
you'll do this, and then you put this together. And I'm like, oh. Um, so if you're out there and your creativity is somewhere other than food, that's still creative. Um, I find it really, really cool that it's like, oh, we've been programmed to remember the ABCs. So why not like program our beautiful bodies and brains to repeat our dreams, repeat our desires? Like that's what I'm hearing from you. Like, listen, you can remember the ABCs. So like what's in the way of stopping you to remember and reprogram yourself in this new octave? And that kind of takes me to like your own journey of like, I'm curious of your journey and what was the like tipping point, if you will, for you to finally reprogram yourself or step into this calling. Um, that had to have been, I mean, I hear it so big on your heart because you're meditating and still thinking about it.
It's an interesting one, actually. I feel like there's a few. The most recent tipping point, I just want to say, I'm going to interrupt that as well. The way you dress is creative.
Mm.
There's nobody, like, I can see that. I'm looking at your earrings, your necklace, your bracelet. I'm like, that's creativity embodied.
Mm,
It's everywhere. Um, and
thank you
so
for pointing that out. Yeah, for everyone out there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can say
my
hi.
bracelet.
Hello. I love that. Thank you, Alison.
You're welcome. So, oh gosh, I've got the menopause, my brain tipping points. Okay. So the most recent tipping point uh was when I realized that I didn't want anyone to go through what I'd been through. And I was
Mm.
invited to reflect on a really painful experience in my life that sort of stopped me in my tracks. And that was my experience with record companies back in the 90s. Um,
Oof.
and these people had more experience. They were male. They were more experienced in the industry than me in marketing and whatever. And I went along with what they said when I didn't want to. And they took the soul out of my music and my message. So I already had a message, like,
Mm.
so I always had the message, it turns out. I've just realized recently that the songs that I wrote in the 90s have the same message that I'm bringing now. So there was so there's so many. So after the soul was taken out of my music, I gave up the whole record company thing and just let it go and just become a full-time single mother. Well, actually, and a singer, but covers. And then, yeah, carrying on for quite a few years, more than 10, and then realizing there was another tipping point, which was about learning appreciation, and the appreciation of my life, which I was working as a singer, singing opposite the sea, in front of, yeah, singing, 4 days a week, any song I wanted, in front of with a view of the horizon facing south, and like going, and then, but still struggling as a single mother, blah, 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 moan. But then it was Abraham Hicks, and they helped me to realize, hang on a minute, I could just go, I am so lucky. I do this, I do that, I have that, I have that. And changing that was a tipping point into appreciation, to realize that, yeah, I was a very lucky girl. So then everything was amazing from that point on, when my eyes saw it that way. And then the most recent tipping point is having a coach and being coached. And she was the one who helped me to find that pain point inside me, that I was like, I cannot sit here and let other people suffer like that. It's taken me years to build up the confidence to advocate for myself and be the creative in charge of my life and my work. And so that passion has aligned with the passion I always had. It's all just here, and it just feels valid. It feels like, ugh. And then looking around at the world, and so many people say it's terrible, and everything's terrible, and it's in a terrible state and everything. And it's like, we can change that.
Mm.
I really see that we have to, and I feel like my mission on earth is to do that, which I can tell is yours also, to inspire a different heart-centered, communication loving world where everything is possible. Yeah, I think, yeah, can't stop now.
We're still
We're not
going. We're still
stopping.
going.
We're still
Still
going.
going. Still going. Oh, wow. Alison, that's such a beautiful journey you laid out. And one of the things that really struck me as I was listening and watching and experiencing you, it just really felt like this was full circle for you. It's like, I've always been creative. I've always had like this mission for freedom: own my music, own my appreciation, own my pain. Like, it's mine, and I get to decide what I do with it. And I'm deciding to use it, alchemize it, and channel it in ways that inspire other people to their own freedom, to their own unique expression. And it's such a beautiful full circle story. And I'm sure there are other crucible moments in life we're just kind of encapsulating here. But I'm also curious, when you're describing, and I was just all in, hanging on every word, when you're describing singing with the sea behind you, there's the horizon, all of these things, and you're in those, what I call those magical moments with your audience, and they are just not only captivated by you, you have the unique talent to bring your audience in with you for the experience. When you're in those moments, can you just describe for the people who haven't experienced that with you, like what happens? Because you're so inclusive. You're so like, it's like, yes, I'm on stage, the spotlight's on me, on the band, and the show is all of us. Like, it's all of us together. I'm just so curious how that came to be, because when you mentioned the whole 90s things, like, yep, I remember music industry, 90s, how that goes. What you're doing is so opposite of that. It's so opposite. It's highly inclusive, highly engaging. Where did that come from in your heart? Was that something you designed purposefully, or did that just come?
I am love. my when I grow up, my name's gonna be all is one, which is just an extra L and an E on the end of my name. I believe we are all one. I believe everything is one, not just humans and animals, but plants and plastic, everything. And so I see being, and I want to connect. My one word is connection. It's like I just want to create connection. And so I feel like I have definitely always been like that. And but what you were saying earlier made me cry, because it wasn't pain at the beginning that brought me to where I am. I've only started to meet my pain in the more recent years.
Mm.
To actually really meet and feel. But back in the old beginning of the circle, I don't think I was identifying with my pain. And so, but yeah, it's oneness. I love people. And really, my mission is spread love on planet Earth. That's really my mission.
Alison
This
Sounds
Love.
so hippie.
Wow.
It sounds so woo-woo, but that's it.
No, it sounds
no,
great.
it feels like this is a landed like lifetime affirmation, like all is one, and that you are named
Yeah.
Alison, because names carry such a potent power.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't
Yeah.
like my name until I found that, and then I was like, okay, it's good.
Ah,
Yeah.
ah,
Mm.
Mm.
falling in love with your name.
Well,
Wow.
falling in love with your name. Mm. I feel like this is a good, because y'all, we're breaking this into two parts. So it's like this feels like a good wrap for this part one. And I'm curious, if you want to tune in to part two, next week will be part two, because I really want to go deeper into this all is one, like, and this connection piece. I think everyone in the world, at least I'm recognizing in some of my circles and local communities, like everyone is craving like this, like let me get in, like let me get into you physically. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can feel
Mhm.
myself hugging you all right now. We're in a little
Yes.
group hug.
Mm.
Um, so let's dive into that more. Thank you all for tuning in to this part one this week. And to catch part two, same place, same time, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we'll be here with part two. So thank you so much, Alison, for this first little segment of this series.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.